Okay, so when we're dealing with trigonometry and we want to find angles or sides, the word that we're going to use as we've repeated in class, sine, cos and tan, SOHCAHTOA. So finding the angle A in question 1 here, we label our triangle, we have the opposite and we have the adjacent, or we have the two straight sides. So you can say that the tan of A is equal to opposite over adjacent O over A, 9 over 12. And you don't have to simplify this to 3/4. You can just type into your calculator the inverse tan of 9 over 12 or 3/4 or 0.75, whatever you want to use. And the inverse tan of 3/4 is 36.869. So if you're asked to round to the nearest decimal or the nearest degree, 37 degrees. B, what have we got? Well, we don't have the opposite. You can see here we have the adjacent and the hypotenuse, h and a, touch off the angle, so we're using cos. So the cos of B, write it out like this till you get absolutely brilliant at them, is equal to a over h, 6 over 20. We could write it as 3 over 10 or 0.3. So the inverse cos of 6 over 20. There's no point in making a mistake simplifying the fraction and getting the wrong angle. And the inverse cos of 6 over 20 or 3 over 10 or 0.3 is equal to 72.54 degrees. Correct to the nearest degree would be 73 degrees. Third one here, what have we got? We have opposite and we have hypotenuse. We have O and H. So the sine of C is O over H, 1 over 3. So the inverse sine of 1 over 3 on a calculator, you're not going to be able to memorize all these guys, is 19.47. Correct to the nearest degree, 19 degrees. Down to question 4. Write SOHCAHTOA out again. Every page, you don't have to keep going back to it. You won't need to do this by the time you get to, hopefully by second year, you'll know this. You'll see here we've got the two straight sides, so it's tan. So opposite and adjacent, don't mix them up, label the triangle. So the tan, the angle D, is opposite over adjacent, 2 over 3. And always write down what you type into your calculator. If you're typing the inverse tan of 2 over 3, that's what you write down on the copy or the test. And the inverse tan of 2 over 3 gives 33.69 degrees, or 34 degrees if we want to round off. 5, we don't have opposite, we have adjacent and hypotenuse, which is cos. So you can say that the cos of E is equal to 5 over 10, which you can see is equal to 1 over 2. And the inverse cos of 1 over 2, or 0.5, or 5 over 10, is one of these ones that you get to remember. It's equal to 60 degrees. And we got the sine of this angle here, I'll call it H, the sine of H, well, H, doesn't matter what we call it, is equal to opposite 5 over 10, which is 1 over 2. And the inverse sine of 1 over 2 is 30 degrees, which is what that extra angle would be. Okay, F, what do we have? We have opposite and hypotenuse. So the sine of F is equal to 2 over 5, 0.4. So the inverse sine of 2 over 5, or 0.4, is 23.57 degrees. 24 degrees if you round it off. So nice and easy. 2 tan, 2 cos, 2 sine. Master these. If you didn't get them all right the first time round or the second time round, you need to do them again to get good at them.